Hi, my name is Kamyra Edokpolor. I'm entering my fifth year in the neuroscience PhD program at Emory University, and I work in the laboratory of Dr. Gary Bissell. I have the pleasure of being a first-year MDF predoctoral fellow. The DM research field has made tremendous breakthroughs with understanding the underlying causes of muscular symptoms, providing those who have a strong interest in the central nervous system, that is the brain and spinal cord, a strong base to further explore. As such, my research focuses on understanding the connection between the loss of an RNA binding protein called MBNL2, dysregulated inhibitory components, and how they may underlie symptoms like fatigue and adverse responses to anesthesia in DM1. Both symptoms are well known in the DM field to be pervasive and affect quality of life. Thus, findings from my research may provide fundamental new insights into CNS symptoms in DM1, with the potential to inform therapeutic strategies. Some general anesthetics used in the clinic exert their inhibitory effects by dynamically regulating the activities or levels of GABA-A extrasynaptic receptors. The extrasynaptic site is the area found outside of where two neurons meet, forming the synapse. This would be the synapse, and this would be the extrasynaptic site. Loss of MBNL2 in mice results in CNS symptoms that behaviorally copy DM1, as well as various pre-mRNA missplicing events, such as increased production of the 2S isoform of the GABA-gamma2 gene, which encodes for the gamma2 subunit of the GABA-A receptors. It has been reported that the gamma2S containing GABA-A receptors are primarily localized to extrasynaptic sites, exhibit enhanced GABA activity, and reduced sensitization, and are also more sensitive to benzodiazepines, for example, diazepam. Thus, it was hypothesized that alterations in GABA-A receptor subunit expression and sensitivity may underlie anesthesia-related CNS symptoms in DM1. It has been confirmed via an assay that allows us to measure RNA levels that gamma2S versus gamma2L ratios are elevated in MBNL2 knockout brain. By quantitating the abundance of additional GABA-A mRNAs, we also find elevation of GABA1 mRNA in MBNL2 knockout mice, the major GABA-A receptor subunit in the brain, suggesting consequences for total levels of GABA-A receptors. The hypothesis was further tested that MBNL2 depletion leads to enhanced GABA sensitivity using behavioral paradigms that use sevoflurane, an anesthetic predominantly mediated by GABA-A receptors, diazepam, a benzodiazepine, as I mentioned, and zolpidem, a sedative. To assess sensitivity to sevoflurane, mice were induced with 6% of sevoflurane. Following, mice were placed in a nose cone for 1 hour at 3.6%, and upon cessation, were timed for how long it took for the mouse to regain its return of riding reflex, or flip over, and then also remove a small piece of adhesive tape that had been wrapped around its paw. These two acts measured emergence and recovery. It was found that MBNL2 knockout mice take significantly longer to emerge and recover from sevoflurane compared to mice that do have MBNL2 and the same genetic background, which I will refer to as wild type. To assess sensitivity to diazepam, 2 separate doses were tested, 50 milligrams as well as 60 milligrams per kg, and to assess sensitivity to zolpidem, 1 dose of 60 milligrams per kg was tested. Mice were injected with respective doses and placed in a cage on top of a heating pad. Mice were then timed for how long it took them to lose their riding reflex, or not flip over from its back when gently done so by the experimenter. This is referred to as latency. Once the mouse lost its riding reflex, the time in which the mouse remained on its back is referred to as duration. While MBNL2 knockout mice did not show significantly faster latency or prolonged sedation from diazepam compared to wild-type littermates, zolpidem administration did cause a significantly longer sedation period in MBNL2 knockout mice. The molecular mechanisms underlying increased risk of surgical complications associated with general anesthesia in individuals with DM1 are not well understood and require those living with DM1 to be very cautious about undergoing procedures that require some level of anesthesia. But taken together, These findings suggest that loss of MBNL2 function and DM1 may lead to altered GABAergic sensitivity, with implications for neurotransmission and anesthesia in myotonic dystrophy. I'm really excited about this research and what other doors it could open for the future research into understanding inhibitory mechanisms in DM1. And I truly believe there's a lot of potential to make a difference in the lives of individuals with DM1 in this lifetime and beyond. So thank you, MDF.